I'm now on the Gordon Keeble owners stand with Graham Jubb. Good morning, Graham, and welcome to the Classic Motor Show 2024.
Good morning, thank you.
Now, can we just have a little bit of history on this car? Because I know very little about it, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who've got a similar.
Yes, the Gordon Keeble car dates from between 1964 and 1967, and it originates back in the late 50s, early 60s, when John Gordon, the Gordon of Gordon Keeble, was managing director of Peerless Cars in Slough, and Jim Keeble was an engineer, racing driver, garage owner in Ipswich, and Jim got approached by a fellow competitor to put a Corvette engine into a Peerless because he thought that'd make it a really good car. That put Jim Keeble and John Gordon together. John was looking for a new project because he knew Peerless, the future for Peerless was bleak, and he commissioned Jim to design him a completely new car from the ground up based around the Corvette engine because he thought that was a really good idea, and he wanted it to be a full four-seater. That made the Gordon GT, which was shipped over to Italy, to Bertone, to put the bodywork on. It was shown at the Geneva Motor Show in 1960 to significant acclaim because it was a full four-seater that did 140 miles an hour, and in 1960 nothing else did that.
That was fast.
Very fast. Unfortunately, putting it into production proved to be a lot harder, and it took best part of 4 years to get the money together. By that time, John Gordon had left the project to do other things, but production started in Southampton at the airport at Eastleigh in 1964. It was very popular, full order books, but they never really had enough money. And then there was a few problems with component suppliers. They couldn't finish cars off. They ran out of money and they went bust.
The old problem.
The old problem. There was an attempt to reintroduce or restart production, but that was even more weakly funded than the original effort, and that didn't last long either. And they finally went bankrupt in 1967.
Now, there was a gentleman who became an owner of one of these cars, and he noticed it was chassis number, I think it was 32, I think it was, and he said he'd like to find other owners, so he arranged a meeting at Silverstone, didn't he?
Yeah, that would be Ernie Knott, who used to be the sign writer at Silverstone Circuit, and he was a massive enthusiast for these cars, and he set out to find all the owners he could, and he founded the club. And I think it's a lot of the work Ernie did, which means so many of these cars now survive. Yeah. Over 90 survive out of a whole total production of 100.
So can you give me a spec on them?
The engines are 327 cubic inch V8 out of a Corvette. That gives it staggering performance. Top speed's 140, 0 to 60 is about 6 seconds. But it's also a full four-seater. You're a bit cramped in the back, but not bad. And they're just lovely cars. They handle really well. They're very smooth, very well engineered cars. Jim Keeble really knew what he was doing.
What about transmission and stuff?
They all came out of the factory with a Borg-Warner T10 gearbox. Again, American. They just bought the engine and the gearbox together as a unit, and then they've got a Salisbury rear axle, which is actually, I think, fairly unique to the car, the gearing.
Well, I think they're a fairly pretty car. In fact, I love the shape of the back end of it.
Yes.
And in fact, the front has a little bit of an Aston Martin shape to it, the front, that duck there. Do you not think?
Yes, very much. That's probably not coincidental, because they were targeting Aston Martin. Yeah. They were a rival to Aston, and the build quality is better than Aston, actually.
So how's the show been for you so far?
It's been good. It was very busy yesterday. Today's a little bit quieter, thankfully, but we're getting a lot of interest now. And it's quite good because 10, 15 years ago, you'd be asked, what car is this? Never heard of it. And now most people recognise it for a Gordon Keeble and know a bit about the car.
Well, thank you very much for the information, Graham, and I hope the show goes well for you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Graham. Thank you.